Hello and welcome to our lab assignment number 1. My name is Kyla Benson and I'm your instructor for this course. This first assignment is just to really help students understand, I guess, the different stages of fabric. A lot of times I hear students will talk about, oh, I bought some fabric, and I'll ask, oh, what kind? And they'll say cotton. And that kind of works, but cotton's actually technically a fiber. And then fibers get twisted into different types of yarns, and then yarns get interlaced or woven together or knitted together in different ways, and that's what makes up a fabric. So when you say cotton, it's still so general, and we really just want to start learning fabric names in this class, and as well as to understand types of yarns and to understand different types of fibers and how to mix up all three of those categories to make different fabrics, I guess. So what we're gonna do is I want you to go to the fabric store and to get a little swatch of fabric, nothing too big, and be sure to get the name of the fabric. And that's kind of hard to do because companies usually aren't required to say the name, and honestly, sometimes names can even be subjective, but see what it says. This right here is muslin. What I have a little swatch of muslin. And then also find out the fiber content. And companies are required by law to list the fiber content. This fiber content is 100% cotton. So start by collecting that information. Then you're gonna take a photo of your swatch before we dissect it. So I have my swatch here. I'm just gonna pull up my handy dandy phone and just take a picture of it. Okay, and you'll post that picture. You'll actually embed it in the discussion board to share with everyone. Then what you're gonna do, you wanna start looking for the yarns, and this yarn here actually came out really quickly. I'll have to zoom up on this for you. Okay, here is my swatch of fabric, kind of zoomed up. So having all these yarns interlaced together makes fabric. This fabric is called muslin. But now I want to break it apart and I want to inspect the yarns. And when you break it apart, kind of pay attention to how were the yarns put together? Were they, interlaced over under? Did some of the yarns go over 2 and under 1? I don't know. I'm going to zoom in here as far as this thing will let me. And I'm just going to try to take it apart and pull out some yarns. And if you're having any trouble doing this, sometimes what I'll do is get a pair of scissors, and if you put a little snip in it, then you can just pull it, and that way it breaks right. It's much easier to pull out the yarn because it's not crooked. It's not a crooked tear. It's a straight one. So that might help as well. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna try to zoom this all the way to let me. Hopefully it's kind of working. Okay. So I'm just gonna take out some yarns. Okay. Got another one, so it comes out pretty easy. There's another one. And as I take out my yarns, you can kind of see the little fringe happening here. Yeah. So this is just another zoomed up angle of this. You can see the yarns are coming off of the sides. They're also coming off of the top and bottom, and you can see the fringe. So this fabric was made by having yarns go left and right, and then up and down. And that's actually called a plain weave. So this fabric was woven together with a plain weave, and you can really see all those yarns. So I want you to pull out a few yarns, and then, let's see, no, it's all so small. Let me zoom out again. And once you have a few, go ahead and just take a picture of that to post on the discussion board. Okay, so I've pulled out several yarns, and now I'm just looking at one yarn strand, and this is where it's gonna get really interesting. Now the goal is to really look at the fiber. And so to do that, we need to deconstruct our yarn And our yarn is just a whole bunch of fibers twisted together. So I'm going to untwist this guy and see if I can pull out fibers and figure out if they're long or short. Second. Okay, so ooh. Okay. Untwisting it, and it's becoming kind of furry. So these are really, really short fibers. They're just like little fuzzy guys. Okay, I have my blue background, my blue backdrop, so hopefully it'll be easier to see. Oh, and there's a fan in this room. So they are traveling away quickly. It kind of looks like a little cotton ball to me, the way how fuzzy they are. I know it's probably really hard to see on the camera because it's so little, but there's like this little poofy thing. I already did a little, let me see if I can show you. A little tricky with the fan in this room too. Trap it in there. Oops, come back. He flew away. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm not complaining about the air conditioning, but it is kind of annoying right now. Okay, there we are. Do you see it, that little guy? So those are my fibers. So it's just interesting to think that, you know, fabric really starts with your fiber selection, and fibers we're going to learn in the next few weeks. All the different types of fibers out there and all the strengths that different fibers bring to the table, and then different ways to twist them into yarn and different ways to interlace the yarn to make fabric. So it's really exciting. So today I just want you to stop and find a swatch of fabric, find its name and fiber content, take it apart, and share it with the class. And already, hopefully, we'll, just by sharing with one another, we'll start learning some fabric vocabulary names and even some fiber vocab names just from this assignment. So let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing your assignments.